Hello and welcome to Talking Sense, a Pittsburgh Works Together interview series featuring our region's most influential leaders. We'll get their perspectives on jobs, the economy, and other topics vital to Pittsburgh's progress. I'm Kelly Brennan, and on today's episode, I speak with Rich Fitzgerald, former Allegheny County Executive and current Executive Director of the Southwestern Pennsylvania Commission. Our region has been allocated more than $39 billion in transportation and economic development funding through 2045. The Southwestern Pennsylvania Commission helps local counties and municipalities access these state and federal funds. Rich shares how his team's planning and development work is upskilling our workforce, improving our infrastructure, and modernizing our economy. We hope you enjoy this insightful and informative discussion. Rich, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you being here.
Sure.
We have a lot to dive into. And
Okay.
Before we get into your role in your current position with Southwestern Pennsylvania Commission, would you just give our listeners a quick background as to who you are, where you've been? I think most people are going to remember you as Allegheny County Executive.
Well, I'm a lifelong Pittsburgher.
That's right.
Grew up in the Garfield section of the city of Pittsburgh. Went to Central Catholic. Went to Carnegie Mellon University. And then when the new government, which we called way back when, in 1999, I ran for the first county council seat in the East End in the Squirrel Hill, Shady Side area of Allegheny County. I served for 12 years on county council as a new government replaced the former county commissioner form of government that we used to have years ago. And then in 2011, I ran for county executive, and it was an open seat. Dan Honorato had been in the previous county executive. He decided not to run, and I ran. So for 12 years, I was the county executive of Allegheny County, a job that I absolutely loved. Got to do an awful lot of things, got to have a big impact in the region, in a place that I love. And then it's a term-limited position, so I could not run again in 2023. So I served a maximum 3 terms, and now I'm working at the Southwestern Pennsylvania Commission.
Where you're still having a huge impact, right? You said you loved that, and you have that aspect with this current role. Talk about how this is important for our region and really what your mission and goals are.
Well, the SPC, as it's known, the Southwestern Pennsylvania Commission, is a 10-county, it's the Southwestern Pennsylvania region that we all know. And when you think about Pittsburghers wearing the black and gold, whether you live in Butler or Latrobe or Uniontown or Bloomfield, we kind of all root for the same team. We're Pittsburghers. Again, regardless of if you live in Lawrence County and Newcastle. So it's it's a board that's made up of the county commissioners of all 9 counties, in addition to the county executive of Allegheny County, and I served on that. And now obviously Sarah Inamorata, county executive Inamorata, serves on that, and the mayor of the city of Pittsburgh. So what they do, it's a planning organization, and they sit down and they make the decisions, that board, as to which roads get done, which trails get built, transit operations. A lot of the federal money that comes into this region that we see every summer with orange cones driving around with construction projects, those get approved and get authorized by the SPC. So our organization, representing those 10 counties, brings everybody together as we try to work as a region to improve the economic climate and the quality of life of Southwestern Pennsylvania.
And you're doing this with billions of dollars.
Billions of dollars, absolutely, because federal highway money that comes into this region, there's going to be $1 billion in this state just in broadband building out of fiber. Those of us who probably live in the city maybe take for granted that our phone's going to work when we make a phone call
Sure.
or send a text. But if you're living in Greene County or Fayette County, in a rural part of that county, you're disconnected in some way. So building out the broadband is one of the things that we would be working on. Highway safety and road safety and road congestion are things we, as a planning organization, we try to improve roads, whether it be McKnight Road in the North Hills or Route 422 up in, the Armstrong and Indiana County and Butler County region. So working on those transportation problems, challenges, or things, again, our planning organization does. We've got a little over 50 people that work there. Our offices are in the Strip District. And again, we're working with our local counties, our local planning agencies, our economic development departments, our public works departments in all the counties in southwestern Pennsylvania.
And we want to see economic growth in all of these counties, but what challenges do you foresee that might lie ahead in maybe the next year and a half?
Well, I think one of the big challenges we have has been that the population shift that we really started to experience 40 years ago when heavy industry left. And in many of these areas, when the steel mill or the factory or the coal mines went down, people lost their jobs and we lost people. We need an infusion of young people. We've got a lot of jobs that are available. Our unemployment rate is a fairly low, in the low 4s, high 3s in certain counties. But some of these jobs go unfilled because we don't have the people to do the jobs, people with the skills, people with the access to the transportation. So I think there's a lot of opportunities that we have. Some of the things that we've seen, the transition of the Pittsburgh economy into robotics and into life sciences and into now with artificial intelligence coming around, then obviously the energy that we have with the natural gas and the Marcellus Shale, if it's done right, we could really put ourselves in a good economic future for our young people.
You lead right into my next question because you are also a chair on an advisory committee for the AI strike team.
Yes. And
can you tell me about that role and really the potential opportunities for AI in our region?
Well, AI, artificial intelligence, is really the one of the next big industries that's coming about, and it's a strike team it's put together of people folks like Carnegie Mellon University, which is the #1 AI university in the country. So it gives us a really great potential there. But it's people like the building trades, developers, landowners, the Allegheny Conference, the Pittsburgh Technology Council, Pittsburgh Robotics Network. So you're bringing a lot of different people together to try to, put our best foot forward to get some of this major investment that's happening. People like Stargate and others are looking to invest billions of dollars to build out data centers around the country. So we're competing with Ohio, we're competing with Michigan, competing with Florida and Georgia and places around the country. We want them to build it here and provide the jobs for people that will benefit from that. So the fact that a company like NVIDIA, one of the biggest companies in the world from Silicon Valley, the first place they're moving operation to in this region in Pittsburgh is important. And places like Bakery Square, which has really become like an AI avenue along the Penn Avenue corridor, has really become an opportunity to do things. Now, we need a lot of energy, electrical energy, to provide that. And in building it out smartly is something that it's an opportunity for us.
You kind of touched on this already in that answer, but Southwestern Pennsylvania, would you agree that we are uniquely positioned for economic growth?
We are.
We are.
We have a lot of the access that you need to build out this new industry. #1, gas, energy. You need a tremendous amount of electrical energy. Just to put something in perspective, when I was county executive, we built something at the airport, a microgrid. We built our own energy plant, the only one in the world still to this day where we're off the grid. And it was a major build out at the time. It was 20 megawatts of electricity. That seems pretty big. An AI center needs 400 or 500 megawatts of electricity. So you need an immense amount of power. And the only way really to do that, as we've been told, is through nuclear, coal, or gas. Okay. Coal, obviously, right now isn't in the thing people want to go to. Nuclear will do the job, but it takes an awful long time to build it out, get the permits. We're talking 4, 5, 6, 7 years to get something. The quickest way to do it is with natural gas, which obviously we have in abundance in southwestern Pennsylvania with the Marcellus and Utica shale. So places in Westmoreland, Beaver, Fayette, Greene counties, they have all the access that we have the land, we have the water. You need an awful lot of water to cool down the power that is needed. So there's a lot of resources that we can utilize in doing that. And that's why the strike team wants to work with all of those partners to try to bring that together. Venture capital folks are part of that. Jay Katarincic is co-chairing it, and a lot of other folks who have been in that space for some time.
Okay. And is there anything else, we've touched on so much, and I really appreciate your insight, but is there anything that we haven't touched on yet that you would want to discuss as it relates to jobs or even the economic growth here in our area?
Yeah, one of the things that we really need to lean into as well is workforce development, training. You know, we have this young population that's graduating from school or coming out of school. What are they going to be trained in for the skills that we need in the future? We don't really touch on eds and meds, but we've been a great eds and meds facility.
Yes.
But when you talk to the big, whether it's the UPMCs, the AHN, the Heritage Valleys, the Penn Highlands, they need workers. They need people, trained phlebotomists, doctors and nurses and respiratory therapists, et cetera. There's a real need right now for workers, trained workers, to be able to do the jobs that we need in the future. And the skill set is a little bit different than it was, a generation ago.
You're echoing so much of what we've already discussed on previous episodes of this podcast, where so many people sitting in this chair are saying the same thing. But we're also showing people the areas that they can go to for training. The opportunities are there.
Yes.
We just have to let people know where they can go to get trained for these fabulous jobs.
Absolutely. And some of that we talked earlier in the discussion around broadband. If you're a student living in Indiana or Armstrong County in a rural area, do you have access to some of that information and to be able to do your homework and to be able to have access to the technology that you need to have? If you don't have that connection through fiber and some other sources, then you're really going to be left behind.
Right, you're missing.
So we've really got to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to access, what they have. If you don't have broadband, it was almost like 100 years ago if you didn't have electricity.
Yeah.
That was a big deal back then. Well, it obviously certainly is, and we've electrified, the whole country. But now we've got to make sure that people have access to the digital technology.
If people want to get more information about the Southwestern Pennsylvania Commission, where can they go? I'm assuming you have a fabulous website.
SPCregion.org.
SPCregion.org.
You can go on there and you can click on there and you'll get a lot of the information of what you need and some of the things that we do. We have our meetings are usually in the Strip District. Chairman Pat Fabian, he's a chair. He's a county commissioner from Armstrong County. Vice Chair Vince Facides, who's county commissioner from Fayette County, and Secretary Treasurer Betsy McClure, county commissioner from Greene County. So you've got 3 outlying counties that kind of lead, but then everybody else gets involved, from Beaver, from Lawrence, from Westmoreland, from Allegheny and Pittsburgh, and et cetera. So it's an active group.
Absolutely. Rich Fitzgerald, thank you for your time. Thank you for what you
Kelly.
do
Good
and all of your insight today. And as always, please stay tuned for our next episode.